Oh yeah, it's got the big initial. There we go. Oh, we also.
Hey, hey, beautiful people! It's EL, your favorite dyslexic book nerd, here today with Black Magazine, and I have a lovely guest with me today, Alissa AKA She Be Reading Them Books. How are you?
Hey,
How are you
that's me.
today?
I am doing good. I am tired, but like it's the good tired where it's like your cup is full. So I feel
Yes,
like it's like a satisfied tired. I don't know how to describe it, but I feel good. How are you?
I am awesome. I am awesome. I am awesome today. I cannot complain. Man, I am so happy I get to do this because like I was saying off of the camera that I am a huge fan of She Be Reading Them Books. And let me tell y'all, if y'all start following her, your wallet is going to be decimated.
That's facts. That's
That
facts.
is that is facts, like yo. And I was like, because I see a lot of book talkers and they be on that romance, and like I don't like romance.
I can't. Can't do it.
Yo, yo, sci-fi fantasy, y'all can keep that romance. I'm good without it,
hmm
you know. And so when I came across your page, I was like, yo, I have found the mecca of my life.
Yo, I feel you. I can't do romance either.
No, man. But how did you start on Book Talk? Like,
So I was actually like, so I've been a reader my whole life. Like the joke in my family is I came straight into this world with a book in my hands. Like it like first like and last year, because actually it's gonna be wait, 2 days from now it's gonna be my book talk anniversary, May 16th. And my friends, like I was always talking about books with my friends. A lot of my friends don't read, so I know they was probably tired of me, but they was like, you should create you like a book talk. Like you have a big passion for books, and I'm a seventh grade English teacher too. So like I work with books and young kids in the city like all day. And they were like, you might be able to do this on book talk thing. I'm like, don't nobody want to hear me. I'm tired of hearing myself talk. Who want to hear me talk? And then one day I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm gonna just let this anxiety go. Let me just hop on book talk and just yap, because I need to talk about a book. I don't know how. I don't have nobody to talk to about it right now. So let me just hop on. It was so awkward when I tell you. It might have taken me like 2 hours because I was looking at myself like, you sound dumb. But I stuck with it, and now here we are. Like, and I never would have imagined that like I would be like where I'm at right now.
right? Because you have a amazing following. Like you
I mean, it's pretty good. I'm
you
not
know,
gonna
you got a
say
pretty good follower. I'd be like, yo, it's a lot of people in this joint. Be like, all right then. Okay,
if
I
you catch
see
me
it.
up guard, I'll be like, y'all not tired of me yet. Like,
No. Now, this was the thing, right? So when I started looking on Book Talk, right?
Mhm.
Because I don't remember how you came across my For You page. But I also found it difficult at first to find other Black creators, right? Why is that a
Mhm.
thing?
So book talk, I feel like a lot of us like describe book talk as being layers. And we know one thing about TikTok is gonna push out a lot of white people. That's just a fact. And so if you first get onto book talk, that's what they're gonna show you. It's just a whole bunch of white people, and then because of that, all of the recommendations you're gonna get are white authors. And so it's not until you start getting to like maybe you have like that one creator that comes across your feed, or you have to specifically type in like fantasy books for black people, like you have to get real specific with your search.
Yes.
Now we start coming up, but I think the beauty in that is that we are also very like there are very few black book talkers that I don't know, follow, or mutuals with, which has allowed us to have like such a close knit book talk community. But you definitely have to do some searching because the books we talking about are not the books that are popular, even though they're better written, in my
Absolutely.
opinion. But yeah,
Definitely that. It took me a while. I was like, what is with this algorithm? Now
I
I'm like,
think the
now I'm
algorithm
like
is
all up and down the space now.
yeah, it's awful when you first get on it. Because even when because I wasn't even on Book Talk before I started. Like I was just my For You page was just dance video, hitting them hips and whatever. Like that's all my For You page was. And then once I like started posting, it was like I'm not reading none of this. Like that doesn't sound interesting to me. And so it was really me having to like go and type in like Black book talkers or Black fantasy books, for TikTok to like start finding the people I actually wanted to be in community with.
Now, why sci-fi and fantasy?
Why not? I mean, like truly, like I don't know. That's what I always gravitated to. Like even when I was in elementary, every single thing I was reading has some sort of like magical element to it. I don't know if it was the anxiety. I don't know if it was ADHD, but to me, I was just like, oh, let's just, I don't know. I just really enjoy magic. And so that's stuck with me to where I am now. And even if I try my hardest to pick up books from other genres. I try my hardest. I will read a good historical fiction, but if I'm picking up a book, it's gonna be sci-fi fantasy because there's nothing cooler than seeing somebody look like you and they in space. You talking about we can go to space? You
Yeah,
talking about we got our own gods and like magic systems? Like to me, that's fire. Like anybody can fall in love. Not everybody can go to space. You know?
touche, touche. I like that. I like that. Yeah, sci-fi fantasy is a big thing for me. Oh, and thrillers. I'm getting into thrillers.
Yes.
So it's a lot of talented people of color writing. So y'all need to, like I've been telling y'all need to get to them books diversely.
Oh yeah, the when you start like, and I think that's the thing that, and I've talked a lot about this on my book talk, but I don't think people understand because I'll see so many people online that's just like, oh, this is such like every other book, or I'm tired of reading the books, and I'm like, I guarantee you that you're not reading a book by a BIPOC, like you're not reading a diverse perspective because if you're reading a book written by like an Indian woman who's writing about mythology from her that's going to give you off rip a very different story than what you're used to because she's writing from her culture and her perspective. You got all these other folks over here just writing about fate. That's all they know. They don't know nothing else. You gotta venture out in order to find something different to do.
I like that. You were nominated for the AAMBC Activist of the Year Award, or is it Advocate of the Year
Yeah, it
Award?
was a
I want to say
literary
it right.
activist.
Yes. How does that feel?
I was like, to be honest, I didn't even know. I didn't know what was happening because there was a lot happening at the time with the award and everything. Not to get into that here, but all of that was happening, so I didn't know. And then I started seeing people like telling me congratulations. Like, what you telling me congratulations for? I ain't did nothing. Like, what? I was so confused. And I was in one of my mutuals chat, just like I forgot what I had said, and then people were like, "Girl, do you not see your name on the nomination?" I said, "What are you talking about, Willis?" And I went and looked, and I was like, "Oh shoot, she be reading books." Sometimes I be freaking.
That is you.
That is me, and I was like, and then it clicked. Oh shoot, I got nominated. I was like, "Dang, y'all see me as a literary activist?" I was like, "That's pretty lit." So it was like, it was very exciting because I mean, to me, it's just me yapping about books and but also, talking about the importance of reading diversely. But to other people, it's like, oh, she's doing this work. And I had to think like, oh, shoot, I guess I am doing that. Like, I don't know. It was really cool.
Absolutely. It's like this. It's like I call it walking in purpose, but not really realizing you walking in purpose.
Yeah. Like, I just got on the internet being me and talking about what I like to talk about and talking about books that aren't the popular ones. And I guess people thought I was like cool enough to nominate me. I don't know. So it's just really cool to say like, yeah, I'm literary actress of the year, nominated. Yeah, you know.
Well, I definitely hope that you win.
Thank
Definitely
you.
hope that you win. And um and you do have some some loud out opinions, I'll say that.
I do. That's something I'm working on because I'm always very vocal about how I feel, um, which is something I've practiced. I was very much like a meek, timid kid,
What?
and yeah, I know, right? I did not do well like talking to others. Like I did debate and stuff like that, but to me that wasn't talking to people. That was me just like kind of having a conversation with, I don't know, with myself. And so it's only been within the last few years where I felt like I really, and I think that's why I started on Book Talk, where it's like I really felt like I knew who I was, I knew my voice
Hmm.
and such. Cause yeah, I used to be on mute. Like you talking to me, I'm not gonna talk back because I don't know what to say.
I find that hard to believe.
I came out my shell a little bit.
But a little bit, like you kicked the whole door down. It's like out here. What's up? Um, I saw one of your videos recently where you were speaking about um our kids and um their poor reading scores, or where our kids are right now with reading. And could you like speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I actually really didn't expect anybody to watch that video, and then that turned out to be like my most watched video for some reason. But I've been an English teacher for 4 years. I used to teach 8th grade for 2 years, been teaching 7th grade for 2 years. And it just, I don't know, it breaks my heart because there is such like a disinterest in not even just in reading, but academics in general. Um, and so like me as a teacher, like I do everything in my power to make sure my kids are reading. Like they the first few months of school, August through October, oh, they be ready to knock if you buck with me because I'm like, you need to sit down and read. Like you're not gonna get around that. And it just really sucks how like a lot of students just don't want to do it. They find it boring. Especially if they're not in it. And then the thing too is that we have a lot of our culture around reading is like it's not necessary. Everything the kids are like everything is shorthand, so we don't need to be reading Shakespeare. Or I go home and I'm on the game. Nobody at home is making me read, and like I've had to tell parents like your kid's failing my class. He doesn't know how to read. She doesn't know. She doesn't know what evidence is. Um, and so that's something I feel really passionate about. And I try my hardest for each and every last one of my kids to find ways to get them invested in reading. So when we do Shakespeare, like we'll do like Othello, right? And I'll tell the kids first day, and I'm like, this is a bunch of middle schoolers. I'm like, y'all gonna struggle because Shakespeare, he was talking in that way. They was talking back in the 1400s. I don't know.
Oh my
But if
God.
you stick with it, y'all, this play is the Zeus Network Real Housewives wrapped up in one. Wrapped up in one. This is messy. Like you got folks cheating on people. Her handkerchief was over in his room. No, when she made, and so then that's I had to really learn how to speak my kids' language, which is I'm not that much older than my students, but in an academic sense, a lot of them have never been able to see themselves in academics and see themselves as readers, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. You think that style of the way you figure out ways to get them into reading translates into the way you do your book talk?
I think so, because I mean, the way I'm on Book Talk, like I know people like to say like, "Oh, people are just putting on like a front for the internet," but I mean that's really how I am in real life. Like I have like some of my old students have found my accounts, and like I remember one of my students, I legit had to like tell her to stop because she was coming at somebody who was like, "You're doing a lot," and she was like, "You're doing too little." I was like, "Period." Like, but the way I talk about books to my kids, like the way I teach, that's the way I talk. Because to me, it's like I can be Black, speak the way I talk, and still be educated, and still know what I'm saying, and still know how to get to the correct thinking, the correct answer, or even think creatively. And I want them to like know that they can do that too, and they don't have to code switch and put on a front to be accepted into education and accepted into reading.
Definitely. I dig it. That's a vibe.
It is. It's always a
Definitely.
vibe in my class.
That's a vibe. It's always a vibe on your TikTok. I be like, what books we learning about today? What we talking about?
Hey, because you know I got them.
Exactly. I be like, yo, did you think, or where do you think? Because we don't know if TikTok gonna be around much longer. I hope so. Because I think that that the issue has become is that people didn't expect for it to be a platform where so many people could speak their truth, speak about the injustices that are happening, and starts so many waves of advocacy and revolution, right?
Yeah.
So if TikTok stays around, where do you see it going, or where would you like to see it going as far as content in the next 5 years?
5 years. Ooh, that's out there. I don't know. I feel like for myself, I want to I want to continue to give a platform to those who might not have one. Like I've had many authors reach out and like, tell me how thankful they are that I was sharing their book with an audience because again, it's not going to be the Sarah J Masses that blow up every other day, on TikTok. And so to me, that's where, because I started my page more so of me just wanting to talk about books. And then I started to really understand the power that can be had on TikTok with like influencing other people. And so, yeah, I want to put on for my fellow BIPOC authors. I want to put on for my fellow content creators that are, I mean, there are some bad folks in the game. Like when it comes to content creation, um, and using my platform to dismantle this idea of what a reader looks like. Because an ideal reader doesn't really look like me, especially when it comes to fantasy and sci-fi. Because I feel like a lot of times if I tell people I read, they're like, "Oh, so you must read romance." Like they assume that because I'm a woman. Nah, give it, throw me anything else. um, and so in 5 years, I just see myself continuing to grow, hone my craft. My goal was 50K by the end of the year, and I'm already most of the way there.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, I just see we going up, brand deals and all. Like I'm trying to get, I'm trying to be on somebody's brand trip.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Cause she be reading them books is doing big things in 2024.
big things. There are some big things on the way that I'm still shook about.
So can you talk about the things that are already here? I know you can't talk about the things that are on the way,
Yeah.
but one of them things that already desiccated my pocket again. I finally got off the waiting list, but go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah. Like recently, big things like I got to interview one of my friends, Terry J. Benton Walker, author of Blood Debts and Blood Justice.
I am
Um,
interviewing him in June.
that when I tell you I love TJ so much, like he was one of the first people when I started on Book Talk. That one I met him in person, which was really dope. And then from there, it just seemed like it just felt like he was in my corner. And to this day, he's in my corner. So when he reached out and was like, "Do you want to interview for me for the release of Blood Justice?" I was like, I ain't never did that before. He was like, what you talking about, TJ? He was like, well, you just gonna have to rip the band-aid off at some point. He's like, might as well be with me. All right. And it ended up being lit. Like it ended up being such a fun time. Um, and then I also got reached out to from the science fiction book box, black owned sci-fi and fantasy. Like I was like, you black, you own this, and it's sci-fi and fantasy written by BIPOC authors. So I was like, what else? You know. So the fact that I'm a rep for that now, and I get to showcase her amazing work. I mean, her amazing work, you know, to people is dope. So like the opportunities, they keep coming, and I'm so grateful and blessed for it. Like,
Rolling in. I promise you. I saw that interview. It was lit. It was definitely lit. I enjoyed that. And yeah, now I get to satisfy books. I finally got off the waiting list. I'm like, yo, my pocket is hurting right now. Like there's literally not one recommendation that you have made that I have not added to my TBR. I'm a Kindle guy. I like physical books, but I'm a Kindle guy.
Yeah.
And so, because it's easier, because I'm dyslexic, I have to color code um, paragraphs, right? And so it's easier for me to do that with my Kindle. But I also like we've got books all over this place. Like there's books in boxes, there's books in the garage, there's 2 bookcases in my bedroom, it's just books everywhere. So I like physical books also, right? And so I was like, I gotta start adding more books to this thing. But my Kindle is ridiculous. And then like anytime you recommend someone, then I gotta go look at their catalog, and then I gotta add all those books too. So thank you so much for that. I so much appreciate that.
I mean, just so you, I mean, if this makes you feel better, any book I recommend is a book that I would also spit my video. And you know, teachers don't make a lot. So
Yes.
I mean, can I buy this book and just wait to get a proper meal till payday? Yeah, because I mean, this book is gonna fulfill me more. You know, like, yeah, because I only, and that's the thing too. I only promote books that I have actively read, because if a book is trash, it's not gonna be on my page.
Yeah, I can't do that either. And because I believe you talked about this in your videos before about so if I get a book and I don't like it, I just don't review that book, right? Because I'm not gonna talk bad about a BIPOC author on my platform. So I don't do it. But you ain't gonna see it in the stack neither. It's just not gonna not gonna tell people to go read that, right? But yeah, and my wife was like, "Why is every book you read like a 5?"
I only know bangers. What you mean?
That's all I know. Bangers. That's it.
That's how good. And I be like, there are people who be like, you know, because I'll do that too. A lot of books that I read I end up at least a 3. I feel like for me, one, maybe it's because I found like my niche. Like I understand what I like, and I'll preview enough of it. Like, so if I'm going through and I'm in Barnes and Nobles and I'm flipping through, I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm gonna like this. That saves me from I've only DNF'd 1 book so far this year. And I did talk about that book on my page. But if I talk about a book that I didn't like, it's always from the lens of like, here's my constructive criticism around this book, or here's maybe something you need to know going into this. Instead of just like, I hate this book and this is what it is, you know, that's because that's doing too much. That's not helping nobody. Yeah, I be reading some manga, so I don't know about the mother folks who be reading 1 stars. I don't know about that life.
Straight bangers. Now you were saying that like the book talk community is close knit. You guys are close knit, right? Who would be what would be your like if I just was like, hey, so I just got on Book Talk.
Yeah. Ooh.
Might I say Black Book Talk? Let's be specific. Because we Black and brown excellence over here all day. All right. So I just got on Black Book Talk. Who should I follow?
Dang. Okay. Ooh. Okay. First up, my girl Tiff.
I follow Tiff.
Tiff, she is so dope. She has like she just has such the like her disposition. You can just feel it. Like you can feel that there's so much like joy around her. And she also reads a lot of sci-fi and fantasy. That's how we became mutuals. I would also say, who would I also say? Michael LeBourne. He does a like when I tell you if there's somebody putting in work, it is Michael. Michael is putting in work.
Yes.
Like putting on, especially when it comes to indie BIPOC authors. He I'm in awe of him. Like, I will also say, a couple of my mutuals like Hannah and Mayana, and they are very. When I tell you, they be reading, they be going through the book. So I'm like, okay, if she didn't like it, there's a good chance I'm probably not gonna like it. So let me just, and then my last one, I'm forgetting her whole act. I think it's called Peruse with Jess. Her name is Jess. Who also does a lot. Like, I don't follow nobody that doesn't talk about BIPOC authors. So if you hit my following page, that's all you're gonna see is people that, yeah, because I don't play the whole. If I go to your page and you have like a bookcase behind you and ain't nobody behind you, a person that look like me, or a notebook you got in a video look like, to me
Yo,
that's weird. I don't know. I can't do that. Can't do that.
that is weird. Be like, yo, what's wrong with your bookcase? Your top 5 authors, dead or alive.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Top 5.
You gotta have a top 5.
Okay. 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 Off the top of my head, first one, Vaishnavi Patel comes first to mind. She is a newer author that has new to me. I discovered her this year when I read, she right here. When I read Kai Cave. And I was like, oh, this eats. And then like a week after I finished it, then she announced that she was releasing Goddess of the River. Mm-hmm. And somehow, some way, I got an arc of that, and I chewed through that. Something about her giving a feminist perspective to these Indian mythology stories where these women are like seen as like the villain of the story. Mm-hmm. It just, she is one to create some magic and rip your heart out at the same time.
Oh Lord!
Because it is very rare for me to cry at a book, and I shed a tear. So she's one. Vaishnavi Patel, Terry J. Bent Walker, easy in my top 5. Like, his book, and I've had this conversation with him, was actually the book that got me into book talk because I love the book so much. I need to talk about it. Like, something about reading Blood Debts for the first time, and you have these Black magical teenagers who are experiencing a lot. They're not afraid to talk about it. And they're very secure in themselves, but also still growing into who they are. It was just, I don't know if it was what I needed at the time, but I've read Blood Debts now like 3 times. I've read Blood Justice twice, and each time I read both of those, it just...
something different.
It's just something different. It's something different. So, okay, that's 2. N.K. Jemisin. And that is a Batman jammer. Because my first time reading the Broken Earth trilogy with the 5th season, and I think that was my first like adult like high fantasy book. And first page, I was hooked. I was like, oh yeah. I literally closed the book after the first page, and I was like, I don't know what I'm getting myself into, but I'm here for it. Because she's one of those authors that like will let you struggle. She'll force you to struggle. And you're just gonna have to be okay with it. Because when you get to the points where you can finally, like a book later, piece stuff together, it creates the most beautiful. I wish I could read it for the first time. Oh, it's so fire. Okay, that's 3. I mean, I gotta give it up for my girl Tommy. Like that was actually Children of Blood and Bone was the first Black fantasy I ever read.
Really?
That the first like I had not read anything for like a couple years because I was in college, and I walked into a Barnes and Nobles. I was home for break, and I was with my mom, and I looked at the YA section and I screamed. My mom was like, "Girl, are you okay?" I said, "No, look." I had never seen a Black girl on a cover of it was magical. So I gotta give props to her. And then okay, I need one more.
One more.
I'm gonna say can I have a tie? They're gonna split 5. I'm gonna say Arf Kwong because that Poppy Word trilogy is something different. Poppy Word trilogy. I ain't never sweated reading a book.
Oh my god.
So she gotta be split with Evan Winter with the Rage of Dragons because that had me hooked. I'm here for Tal burning down villages. I'm here for all day, every day. If he burn it down, you was
all
just
of those books are on my TBR right now.
Hey, then you in for a time.
Oh my god.
In for a time. Be prepared.
My years. Oh my god. And it's like my TBR keep getting jacked, right? I know you experienced this, right? Because now I get books sent to me. So then it's like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait. Yeah. Okay.
It makes it difficult because then it's like, okay, I bought these books and I want to read the books I bought, but then you just send me this and this also looks fire, like,
right?
You know, and then
like how do you make that balance between fun reading and I don't want to call it work because it never feels like work reading.
Mm-hmm.
Like the books I review for the magazine, I don't really look at them like work reading. I look at it like this is the stuff I want to read versus the stuff on my TBR that I definitely got from looking at your videos that I want to just read because you say they fire. So how do you get the balance?
I mean, one, I don't. If somebody sends me a book, they send me a book. Okay, cool. You send me that book. And if I know I'm not going to read it, I have friends that will, because I have friends that read fantasy. I have friends that read romance. Friends that read historical fiction. So if I'm not going to read it, my friends know, hey, this sounds like something you would like, you know. So because I wanted to get read, I just know I'm not going to read it, you know. And if there's a book that I'm getting sent that like I requested or somebody reached out and they're like, hey, do you want? And I'm like, yes, then I'm gonna read the book, you know. So at the end of the day, it all just is still reading for fun because I want to read the book you sent.
Facts. I'm telling you, my TBR is looking like, oh my god.
Oh yeah, it's not at this point. I can't even. A TBR is a fake word. That's a fake phrase because it just don't exist. The TBR is whatever book I pick up next.
That's it. Cause I just got Thirsty by Jazz Hammond today.
Mm-hmm.
And that have been excited about that book and I've got to read it. Like ahead of everything else that I like started 3 books. They're gonna have to wait a little bit.
And you know what? And that'll be okay. They'll be there where you gotta pick it back up.
They'll be there. What would be your suggestion to somebody who is not really a reader but wants to start reading? Where should they start?
I would say so. I always tell people, especially for people who want to start in fantasy, like I always tell people like understand like your preference. Like my friends who are trying to jump into reading, I always try to ask them a few questions because like you might start with young adult where there's young adult usually is very fast paced because they gotta, they moving. Whereas usually an adult fantasy, they can slow down. Like Broken Arrow trilogy, that first book is a slow book. You just gonna have to be okay with that. But typically I tell people figure out if you want adult or young adult, and then figure out do you want like low fantasy or high fantasy. And if you're starting, probably low fantasy, like a book that has magic but is set in a current world where you're not trying to figure out a whole bunch of systems because they're in New Orleans, they're in North Carolina, right? Like that's something that's already familiar, and so it helps to bridge that gap a little bit. So I would say start with something fast paced, set in the world. So usually like a young adult, like I think Legendborn, Blood Debts are like perfect books to jump into, or like Pet and Bitter by Akwaeke Emezi, like are perfect books to jump into. Um, and then from there, like I would say listening to the audio too. Like if somebody has Spotify, like tandem reading with the audio with the book, I think really helps because now you're like immersed in two different ways into the information. Because I'll do that too. Because I'll be like, I'm not feeling this book, but then the audio book will eat like they'll be acting. I'm like, okay, you got me back into this.
That's lit. I like that. I like that. I might have to start trying out some audios. Um, they don't always work for me because of my ADHD. I'd be like, what? Oh, wait.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? But I'm always looking for different ways to go around my reading or my learning challenges.
I feel you. I have ADHD as well, so I'll put them on in the car, especially because I'm locked in a place I can't physically move when I'm driving. So I'm already locked in, and then I'll up the speed on it. So and I hate when people talk. I talk fast myself, which I have to work on that. But I hate when other people talk really slow. Like when I know some people who talk like the sloths from the Zootopia movie. And I'll speed up the thing. So it's like, but it works because then I'm not having to like just sit through like, okay, I understand what's happening next. Like just get there.
I definitely am going to have to try that. So she be reading them books. What is she be reading right now?
Currently, I am rereading Children of Blood and Bone for something I can't talk about yet, but I'm rereading the first one, if that says anything. And then I'm also reading Blood at the Root by Ladarian Williams, because me and Michael LeBorn are actually gonna go live on Friday to talk about it, which is really exciting because a Black Harry Potter, like that's all I need in my life. Um,
Yes.
is a Black boy who goes to a magical HBCU. So those are my two current reads.
Okay. Because Blood at the Root is my current
Mm-hmm.
because I'm reviewing that book for June. For the
Mm-hmm.
June issue will be my review in the magazine for the June issue. So I'm excited about that. And then um uh was thirsty because I just got it today and I want to read it. And then I just finished the Blood Debt series. I might read it again because it was phenomenal. I'm a twin, and like I was like, yo, I needed this around when I was their age.
I'm sad. Oh, that's literally my same as I thought. I was like, I wish, especially in Blood Justice, I'm like, I wish I could pop off the way Chris does. Oh my
Oh
god,
my god,
I
yo,
want to be her because I be feeling that same way too, girl.
yo, she was standing on big business.
One thing you might be able to say a lot about Chris. One thing you can't say, that lady, you know the see I'm talking about. She walked in that house, that lady said what she said to her. It was on site.
On,
That was
you hear
valid.
me? On site.
On
I was
site.
like, oh, yes.
And my sis did what she needed to do.
Period.
So
On
yeah.
period. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me.
Thank
It
you for
was,
having me.
it was a pleasure. Try not to decimate my wallet too much more.
I mean, at this point, I feel like you should know that that's just not gonna happen.
Right? Like that's gonna be a thing. I know. Ongoing. It's okay. It's
Mhm.
okay. It's perfectly fine. And is there anything you want to tell the people before we go? Where they can find you?
Mhm.
TikTok,
I'm on
Instagram.
I'm on Instagram and TikTok, both at She Be Reading Them Books. So you can find me on either platform. And I don't know, read Black.
Read Black. I need a shirt that says read. I was telling my wife, I need a shirt that says read Black. Then I
Mhm.
need a shirt that says your favorite dyslexic book nerd. I need that.
Yes, that a
I need to rock those constantly, all the time, everywhere.
yep. Because
Definitely that.
the book community doesn't look a certain way. We all
Facts.
here coming in with our own our own stuff, and it doesn't make everybody's a reader. If you read, you're a reader. Just make sure you're reading BIPOC. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yo, like that's the thing. Because like I said, like when I was younger, because I'm an old man. But when I was younger, like I didn't see a whole bunch of books that I saw myself in.
Hmm.
And so to be older now and be able to like I literally have enough BIPOC books by BIPOC authors that I would not have to read any other type of, you know what I'm saying, from whatever genre you into. Like,
Yeah.
people think we like just read romance and gangster books. And I'm like, I don't read either one of those.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so to be able to to be able to see myself in a book in a book that's talking about black people, to be able to see myself in a book talking about trans people,
Hmm.
to be able to see just us in so many different avenues and ways, like, is insane. Like, because when I came up, first BIPOC book I read was The Young Landlords by Walter Mosley. That was
Hmm.
the first book I read. I've read that book 1,000 times because at that point I was a kid, and to see black kids running an apartment building was like the greatest thing ever, right?
Yeah.
And so now, and then as a young adult, I started reading Octavia E. Butler,
Hmm.
right? And so,
Grandmother.
yes, yes. Definitely. And now rereading all her stuff. Like,
Yeah. It makes such a difference. Like I I don't think I think I read one book that was white authored last year. This year the goal is none, because my whole middle shelf is literally just black authors. So when people come to me and they're like, I can't find it, I'm like, just just look behind me. Like, the
right,
majority of my books are by BIPOC authors because the writing is richer, the world is rich. And you have to think too, it takes twice as much for BIPOC people to get in the door. Because we know that 80 to 90% of publishing is white. And so if you part of the 10-20% who got through the door, and this is including indie authors, because indie author, that isn't any less challenging. Um, if you just got through the door and was able to publish something, it's already guaranteed to be better, because we're not allowed to be mediocre, right? And then you have that coupled with the fact that we're bringing in so many different cultures, perspectives, um and imagination. Like, there are some books that I read and I was like, I would have never came up with that premise, would have never thought about that, but you did. And so when you start reading diversely, you start getting such a more rich experience when it comes to reading. There's such the Poppy War is based off of Japan and China relations during World War II. Who else is writing about stuff like that?
yeah,
So yeah, when you start reading Black, and especially once you start seeing yourself in stories, it just there's nothing more beautiful than that to me. Like, yeah.
definitely. Definitely takes you to a new place. It's like jumping down a rabbit hole. You like in a whole new world. You like, yo, I didn't know this world existed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's sort of like Black Book Talk. Like, you be like, I didn't know this world existed. And to see so many different creators that are completely different from the other, and like you say, we all read. And so, it some creator you gonna connect with, like you gonna see yourself in, you know what I mean? And so, like, I think that's a beautiful thing. And yeah, I was like, yo, we finna end, but we still talking.
But it's like it no, but it's so like that though, because like I have so many mutuals who read romance, and they know like they don't read fantasy, I don't read romance, and those are still my girls because I'll hop on today videos and I'll be like, dang, he really did what? Like, I'm sitting there and they're listening to the drama of like, what they're reading, and they'll do the same with me. They'll be in my comments like, this sound good. I'm not gonna pick it up, but this sound, like.
I might want to read that.
I might read it one day. It's not gonna be tomorrow, but you just make that sound so good.
Yo, I did that with a book, Dance with the Shadows. It is an African mythology fantasy book, right? It is not available. It is not available in the United States.
What's it called?
It's called Dance with the Shadows. It's by what's his name? Root something ROB. I'm horrible with names. And I'm dyslexic, so I'm sure to spell it wrong. Padigo is his last name. Padoga, I think.
Oh, I'm gonna find it. One thing I can be an investigator. I'm gonna find it.
It's called Dance with the Shadows, but it is not available. Yeah,
I know this because you can order. That's the thing too. I mean, you can always all of those bookstores they'll ship internationally. So like,
see, I didn't even know that.
I've ordered like The Principal Moments by Esme what's her name? Pearson Akemi. I think I'm saying that right. Her book is only available in the UK. I'm hopping on Waterstones because that's like the UK version of like Barnes and Nobles.
Yes.
You better ship it. I'll pay the $20 and ship it. Just ship it to. Actually, it's usually not that bad. Because I've seen this and I was like, oh, it's available in UK. You better put that across the ocean.
Man, listen, I have friends who live across the pond.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, hey, I sent them the link. I said, hey, I need this ebook, please and thank you. And just send me the email with the link and I'll send you the cash.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like, just another book I'm adding to this freaking list I'm reading. But yo, it's been pretty good since I started reading it. So it's that one. And
it looks fire.
Yeah,
it looks fire.
It's fire.
I ordered internationally. I ordered let's see, I've ordered a French edition of a book, and I'll be having Google Translate open because I don't know nothing on that website. I
was like, you read? No, you don't.
I can read French decently well. I took French classes in college. But I just wanted because depending on the region, the cover is gonna be different.
Right.
And sometimes you just need to have all the editions of a book.
Amen.
I literally have a Bulgarian version of Kake on the way because Vaishnavi Patel put it on her Instagram. I said, "Oh, that look good." I don't know Bulgarian, but I want
it. Yo, I swear this book thing is serious.
It is. It's a good thing I'm not into no Chanel's or nothing like that.
I promise.
This is where the money goes.
I promise. My God. Okay, for real now. It has been wonderful talking to you. Thank you for hanging out with me.
Of course.
Yo, Blackout family, right? Y'all, she told y'all where y'all can find it. She be reading them books. TikTok and Instagram. Y'all need to go follow, like, and share both her pages, right? So y'all can get them book recs so y'all can be reading diversely because that's what we doing in 2024. Period. So until next time, it's your dyslexic book friend saying, I'm going to holler at y'all and y'all be reading.
Bye, y'all. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome.